Warning: this program may contain visuals that might offend sensitive viewers. Parental guidance is advised.
Ubusela bobuzwe lulwaphulo mthetho olungenazingqi yaye lwenzeka emnyameni lungabhaqwa isithuba seenyanga okanye iminyaka.
Ilife yami isitakile. Andikwazi ngitshate ndiyawubawela kwangoku. Azange ngitshate nangeminye.
Na after umshado ngaphuma then ngachubeka ngelife azange ngixoxele umuntu 4 years ngazithulela.
So i-idea sogolisa kakhulu if unganayo ngoba nami myself mangithi ngifuna eminye imisebenzi angikwazi ukuthola eminye imisebenzi because i-ID iblockile.
Ibali likaChidima Adachina libangele isankxwe ngethuba bekubhengezwa ukubana ungomnye wenobuhle abakumagqibelo kankqoyi ukukhuphiswano lokuba nguyena nobuhle ogqwesileyo eMzantsi Afrika. Isibhengezo sashiya abaninzi benemibuzo eliqela ngobuzwe bakhe. Abantu bamemela ukubana makaguzulwe kweli qela lamanenekazi ayezawushiyana ngotyefezo kolukhuphiswano. Ngokwegosa kwisebe lezekhaya bukhona ubungqina bubonisa ukubana ubuzwe balenzwakazi mhlawumbi bebiwa ngumama kaChidima. Baninzi ke abantu kweli abahlangabezana nengxaki sabumila bunje, izenzo zobuqhetseba zibangele ukubana bumenqi ubomi babo. Umama uLulama Silas walahlekelwa sisazisi sakhe emazantsi esixeko saseRhawutini ngethuba wayengena kwindawo entsha yokuhlala.
Ngoku ngithe mangizawuthi 60 ngithi ngifune ngiyobhalisa umndende. Kula ngafind out ukuthi ngitshatile ngoba ngathi bangifika bangibhalisa bayenza yonke into. Mase ngifike ekugqibeleni bangifune i-marriage certificate ngathi mina ngoba angizange ngike ngitshate nangeminenye anali marriage certificate bathi hayi utshatile bangibonisa igama lika Ramson andazi igama ngilibele kodwa uRamson isenimi yakhe kodwa unesenimi ezimbili. So awazi ukuyithola i-grant yakho. So iwari yami ukuthi ngoku yonke into engiyenzayo ayenzeki kakuhle ngoba kuvela lezi senimi ezimbili zimisi life yami. So ngifuna lo Ramson mangike ngambona nje angixelele ukuthi sasitshata nini kuphi.
uLulama ngomnye wamaxhoba omtshato womgunyathi ochaphazela uninzi lwabasetyhini kweli lizwe.
Ngisho nemali le ama 350 azange ngifumane ngoba ngangithi ngiyangena ngingakaqwalaseli ukuthi kuthiwa ngitshadile. Imali ngikhaba ngathi ngikhaba njani ngoba ngisebenza and futhi angilenda ngiregistranga nje ndawo. Kanti yile ngxaki kungona ngiqwalasela ke ngoku. Kusukuma kwami ngihambile ngayozama ukuthi ngidivorce lo tata engingamaziyo. Angizange ngifumane uncedo phaya ngabe ngishawutwa abasisi abasebenza pha bathi ngijade ngabomu ngizobacaphukisa. So ngimane ngisiya ngiyocenga ngiphanse ngarobha ngabafana bathi basebenza pha bayayazi le ngxaki abafazi babo bake baba nayo le ngxaki so banganinceda. Ngafika phaya bangifuni 1.5 ndayeka njengoba ngisahleli nangoku ngisafuna uncedo lokuthi ngiphume kule senimi engingayaziyo.
Ihona affairs babuza bona mama ukuthi wachata ngibona kumtshato waziyo bathi
ngizange ngibuze nokubuza nje ekhanga bona bangixela ukuthi utshatile sinike i-marriage certificate ka ngithi mina ngibangathi ngiyachaza banginiki nechance ukuthi ngichaze. Ilife yami isitakile. Khona ithemba engingabi nalo khona izinto njengamapolisi kanje mangisweleka la abantu abazawusokwala ngabo abanye abakwazi ukuyifumana bathi afika pha bavezela ifane ezithu and mase uswelekile akwazi ukuyi-explain and nabanye bakwazi ukuyi-explain.
wena unayo le marriage certificate kuthiwa unayo?
Andikazi marriage certificate, andikwazi ngomtshato, ndiyawubawela kwangoku. Azange ngitshate nangemini enye.
Xa bethi kuwe xa ubaxele Home Affairs ukuthi akunayo le marriage certificate bafuna yona bathini xa bephendula?
Mama nebangenza isi-affidavit sigcwele indlu. Ndaba ngibuye naso ngoba bavele bathi hayi niyasidina ngalo mtshato wenu wamangoma. Ngijike ngibuye ngizathini, ngeke ngihlala imini yonke phaa ngingancedwanga.
Xa ingenze kule divorce kuzokwenza
ngiyazi ukuthi ngizaphila amanga.
Ingaba umama uSilas angaphuma njani yena kulo mtshato wakhe womgunyathi?
And unfortunately, it happens to a lot of people, specifically women in South Africa. So what you would first need to do is to be able to gather information concerning this alleged fraudulent marriage, right? So what is her last name, right, that has been assigned to her? Which Home Affairs branch has she actually spoken to? Then with those kinds of marriages, you can only then set them aside by means of a court application. There must be a high court application where you ask the courts to set aside those marriages, because then it's a fraudulent marriage. You didn't consent to the marriage, right? You don't know who the other spouse is. You don't know where they stay. The person is a complete stranger to you, right? So if you can convince the courts of those things, and also convince the court that you don't know where this person is, you can't possibly serve this application on this person, the court then allow you to be able to service this person using alternative means, a way deviating from the normal court process. So for example, the court may allow you to be able to serve these papers, maybe in a newspaper article or using a print publication as well. But essentially what this person needs to do is to be able to approach the court and ask the courts to set aside that fraudulent marriage. And then once the court order has been issued, present that to Home Affairs for Home Affairs to update the system accordingly. Unfortunately, with fraudulent marriages, you can't divorce the person because there's no valid marriage, right? Because there is no marriage without somebody's consent. They have to be annulled or they have to be set aside by means of a court order. All things regarding this person's estate will be affected by virtue of the marital status. Not only her policies, but issues concerning her pension funds, payout, insurance claim, traveling documents, passports, etc. All of these things will be affected by this person's alleged marital status. So that's something that will be affected, something that has to be resolved. So the sooner this person approaches the court to annul the marriage, then the easier and the better it will be for this person to be able to administer the deceased estates.
Unompumelelo Ndamase wase-Orlando East uneminyaka engama-36 iminyaka ubudala. Ngumnqake into kubana uzibandakanye neqhina lomtshato nommi wangaphandle iminyaka 11. Angazange aphinde ambone ngeliso lenyama. Uthi wacetyiswa ngelinye lamalunga osapho kuba enze njalo.
Wangitshela ukuthi kunomfana uphuma ngaphandle ofuna i-citizenship this side. So uzofuna ngimshade, in return ye-citizenship uzongcedisa ngempilo.
Ngelo xesha unompumelelo weneminyaka engama-25 iminyaka ubudala yaye ebegqiba ukufumana umntwana.
Njengoba nawe uzibona ukuthi unomntwana, ubaba kumphikile, awusebenzi and awuphasanga na matric, nami umthwalo uyangisinda. Ngimtshele ngithi hayi ngikhona ngiyala yabo. Kuba ukuthi hayi zicabange okungenani go meet the guy and then maybe ngenze kumthandi, then sizobona from lapho. Ngahlangana naye eCarlton Center. Mara mangisuka la bengasuki nomama, because the deal was from their side bafuna umuntu onganamama. So I had to lie futhi nokuthi ngithi angina mama. Then sahlangana noGuy nomalume wakhe. Even though singaxoxanga izinto ezingako, sifuna umshado based on this and thina sizokunceda ngalokho. And then kwaba yileyo meet and greet ngabuyela emuva. Ngimtshela ukuthi cha ngiyala, angifuni. Kubo umuntu oba angazi ngizoyibeka kanjani. Ukilabona umuntu makakuphikisa but angayi ngamawala. Kucale kube 10 endlini, kube snacks, whereby nawe uyabona ukuthi umuntu ukushaya ngomzimba yabo kube lezo zinto lezo aloka every now and then ayikhuluma ukuthi ngicela wenze into so if ungafuni uthini ngefuture yakho and so nomntwana yabo kubo ukuvuma ke ekuvumeni baye ba set up i-appointment oqala home affairs I didn't go what makashima lokugibela ngavela ngayihlalela zange thinking maybe manje ngayi uzobona ngamampela ukuthi angifuni abuye emsebenzini abuye sekathetha ukuthi hawo bafonile labantu ndibakwatile uyayazi imali emotional because angithi kwamele bayihlanganise ngama connection ton uyayazi imali emotional in ngaphenduli ngesithulele kudlule angazi ngizothi kudlule how long but azange ngithatha isikhathi esiphi basetapeni appointment date ngigibele ngihambe ngishada kanjalo nje as soon as ngifika sesangena sahlangana angazi ngizothini official le administrative umshado yes and kwaba yilokho kwaba kuphela kwayo na after umshado ngaphuma then ngaqhubeka ngelife azange ngixoxele umuntu 4 years ngazithulela kwaba ukuthuleka nje kwaba ukuthuleka
Indoni yakwenza ungaxoxeli umuntu eminyaka engakuthule ngalento yakho
I was ashamed. Bengafuni ukuface angazi ngizothini the fact ukuthi ngiyenzeka kangithandi or I'm not good enough you understand njengoba ngibala ama failures ukuthi zange ngiphase matric ngihluleka ukuthola umsebenzi nengiyaqhamuka nomntana ongafuni nobabakhe
Ungene emtshadweni ngelokufuna ukuncamla nge-15 ka-April ngo-1992 ze wangu-Mrs. Nyowe. So utshate nomuntu ongahlali naye. Owamgqibela nini ngomntu?
Chances are maybe 2014 or 15 ukumbona face to face.
Ngoku besanibonana face to face ngabe ikhona into bamanika zona besenza njani? Izithini i-terms and conditions zenu zalomshado?
Ngelanga lomshado into engabuya ngiziphethe. Wayethenge iphone back then. And then I think nempahla bezenza 600. Face to face that was the only exchange ngabanayo yama items or yemali. And then from lapho ke kuba umuntu ukuthi vela ngisamboni uziphilela impilo yakhe nami ngiziphilela impilo yami bengim inboxa only mase ngidesperate ngalendlela ukuthi angina ngidinga something ngimcele ke hayi ngicela ufake 300 rand mangabe unayo ngicela ufakele 500 rand mangabe unayo besayenza njalo.
Ingxaki iqale ngo-2019 emva kokubana uNompumelelo efumene umntwana wesibini, umntwana umfumene kwenye indoda engenguye umyeni wakhe.
As soon as ngiceda ukuteta, it was in December 2019. Mangibela ngabe ngiyombhalisela certificate home affairs eBar. Njengoba ngisho ukuthi into engase ngiyithathe ngayilahlela ayingcwaba at the back of my mind so bengasinto bengicabanga ukuthi ekuhambise ekuyobhalisena umntwana sizovela isibongo and then kube ukuthi no akwazi ukumbhalisa ngondamane angithi ushadini umntana kumele athathe isibongo sakanyo.
Unyana wakhe uneminyaka esithandathu ngoku yaye akanazo incwadi ezisemthethweni.
Intanga zakhe zonke zihambile crash uhleli behind with questions angibuza zona njalo uyambona uyayiphaphela ayikho into angayibuza ubani sekaya crash mina ngiseleleni sometimes athatha school bag afuna ukuphuma ngenkani ngegate ngimncenge ngimbuyisa at times uzothola abambezelele kusisi wakhe amncenge ukuthi ngicela ulove namhlanje esikoleni uzo explain akho mistress ukuthi bosele nami.
Isimo simnyanzelisa ukubana afake isicelo sokuqhawula umtshado.
Ngireach out ku guy ku inbox. Ngimtshele, mfethu, kusosososo nginomntwana ngibuke menze certificate ngihlangabezana nenkinga kanje angaphendula long inbox angaphendula up until ngidecide ukuthi okay thingi timeline yakhe ngibone ukuthi akekho umuntu o close naye engakhuluma naye ngam-inboxa maybe anganginceda luckily mangena ku timeline kukhona ibaby mama umntana wakhe ulingana nowami ngi-inboxele yena ngimtshele mfethu kusosososososo ngiyaxolisa ukukuhlupha but ngicela ungenzele ifavor sososo aphendule ngokuthi no akekho around but as soon as abuya ngizomtshela ngoba vele ngiyazi ngawe. Maybe after a few days isikhulumile bacele yena acele account number ukuthi ngoba akakabuyi and ukhala ngento soso nami nginomntwana omncane so ngiya-understand ukuthi ufila kanjani ngicela ukukufakela imali afake 1.5 kube lokho-ke ilo 1.5 bathembise ukuthi as soon as abuya into the country uzozama ukuyilungisa and stuff like that. Ngizothini fast forward down the line 5 years later ngisamlindini kwalana noma ngimcela ngithi ahlangane-ke sikhulume face to face maybe mangakhuluma nawe face to face uzongizwa kangcono totally ngiyamlindini.
Njengoba unompumelelo efuna ukufaka isicelo sokuqhawula umtshado wakhe fanele enze njani?
There's a business transaction between the parties. So you have one party who wants to benefit financially from the other party. They form heads, they agree, and then they proceed by way of marriage. But it's not out of, companionship or love or affection. It's merely to conclude a business transaction or some kind of a transactional arrangement. Remember, in the eyes of the Department of Home Affairs, this is a valid marriage, right? Because the two of you presented yourself to Home Affairs, right? You agreed that you want to enter in this particular marriage. So in the eyes of the law and also in the eyes of the Department of Home Affairs, that is a valid marriage. It's concluded with consensus and both parties consenting to it. Should you want to then terminate the marriage, you have to approach the courts, the regional court or the high court, and then you have to launch divorce proceedings by yourself. You firstly have to find the person because you'll have to serve documentation to the person. So when you issue something, you need to be able to have a valid service address where you're going to find this person. And if you can't find this person, you will not be able to divorce this person, right? And of course, should you want to marry, like I said again, in the future, where now you want to enter into a valid marriage, you won't be able to do so because there's a record then against your name in the population registry as well. So it's complicated to divorce a person that you marry only for business or transactional reasons because you may not be able to find them later on should you want to divorce them. And then you face a very high mountain when you want to launch the divorce proceedings because you don't know where they are.
Lo nguCarol Mafubedu nonomazisi onenombolo ezimbini nto leyo ebangela into yobana angakwazi ukusebenzisa umazisi wakhe.
Bathi kuwe kwenzeke kanjani kuwe xa bekuchazela?
Bangitshela ukuthi kwamele ngibuye sizozama ukulungisa indaba and then bacele i-ID kama ngize ne-ID kama noma ngabatsho ukuthi uma akasekho uzakhe noni bring i-ID bathi okay fine mangiza ne-ID kama kwamele ngenze sure ukuthi ngiza ne-death certificate yakhe. So I did ngingachamuka nazo vele zoyithu ID ne-death certificate.
Uyakwazi uyisebenzisa le ID yakho ngoku?
For now I can only say ngiyisebenzisa if ngileba yakuphela. That's why I only use it. But kuba inkinga maybe if ngifuna ukumaketha because i-ID iblokile. So I can't ukuthi ngifuna umunye umsebenzi nge-ID eblokile. I-ID yazogolisa kakhulu if unganayo. Ngoba nami myself mangithi ngifuna umunye umsebenzi angikwazi ukuthola umunye umsebenzi because i-ID iblokile. So kuba impossible for me ukuthi ngiprogress empilweni so ngihlala la ngihleli khona.
So the only thing that kwenza for i-labor yakho ezinye izinto uyakwazi uvula ipolisi okanye wenza ezinye izinto ngale ID. So you're as good as not having an ID.
Ngisebenza angina ID.
Uthi iminyaka equqa ebuyelela kweli sebe.
I decided ukuthi ngihambe nobaba se-Epitor zobuza ukuthi kwenzakalani because isibaba say Home Affairs says 707 you can't do anything. And masifika e-Epitor they told me ukuthi I'm supposed to go back to Orlando Home Affairs again batshela ukuthi isibaba is supposed ukuthi akhiphe lo IT A1 unblock because there is no way e-Epitor unblocka into enzwe Home Affairs e-Orlando.
ePretoria bathi ID numbers zakho zenziwa phi? Zenziwe eOrlando. So buyele eOrlando uyofumana khona uncedo. So eOrlando xa ufika uyobaxela ukuthi iPretoria mandibuyele kuni bathini?
And then there was so many different stories ebakazikhuluma. So wawutshela ukuthi sime kancane and then sizobuya futhi sizobheka ukuthi kwenzakalani. Ngizobona ukuthi ngizenza kanjani mina then after 2 weeks or so then sizobona indlela way forward usihamba kanjani. I-first born kwamele bene-ID by next year because in I think 2 years time uzabe enza i-matric. After next uzabe enza i-matric so kwamele bene-ID angazoyenza kanjani because kuba inkinga for yena isa-affect mina isa-affect abantwana. And then i-last born naye akana-birth certificate kwamele aye ku-grade house angazi ukuthi ngisebenza kanjani because ekhasi bamzola ukuthi bamthatha without i-birth certificate.
Because yakhumbula xa ufika ka-matric kufuneka bene-ID. Akakwazi ubhala i-matric engenayo i-ID yakhe. So uzakwenza kanjani?
Angazi because like zabe ngilimaza umntwana into ebuhlungile because kuzolimaza yena. So it ayela kwamele ngicela baba ukuthi amenzile i-ID ngesibongo sakhe ukuthi angazi ukuthi izovumeka kanjani. Because esingabantu abamnyama ukuthi as a culture ukuthi umntana athi isibongo sababakhe akakwazi ukusebenzisa isibongo sababakhe without silandele i-culture so kuba yinsimanyana.
Ingaba uCarol Mafubethu yena angenza njani ukulungisa le ngxaki kamazisi wakhe?
Which ID number was issued first? Which Home Affairs branch issued this particular ID numbers? To which Home Affairs has she gone to try and to resolve the problem? What has been the response on the part of the Department of Home Affairs? Was there an investigation that was launched into the matter? What was the outcome of those investigations? Was she issued with written reasons? If so, do we have sight of those reasons? And of course, what the outcome has been if those processes were actually embarked upon. Then she also must be able to relay how come she was issued with the second ID number. Was the first one, for example, blocked, and then maybe she applied for a subsequent one, or perhaps was there fraudulent activities maybe on her part and the part of Home Affairs? Is this a clerical error on the part of the Home Affairs? And if so, can it be rectified? Are we dealing with ID blocking? Are we dealing with the duplicate matter? So that requires just a bit of thorough consultation with the victim, and then we can be able to see then which Home Affairs do we branch and which procedure do we use? Do we do duplicate or blocked ID?
Silucelile ke udliwano ndlebe nesebe lezimicimbi yezekhaya kodwa bebengekasiphenduli isicelo sethu ngethuba sisiya emoyeni.